Hello, you lovely, lovely humans. Oh, what a lovely Saturday evening it is. Hello, happy Saturday. Welcome back to Roy's Repair and Resale. My name is Roy. I do repairs and resale. You get it? It's funny. Oh, lordy lord. What a beautiful Saturday it is. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get my shameless self-promotion out of the way. Go. Burp. We'll drop it right in here. Burp. All right. Always lovely to see everybody. Thank y'all for joining whenever you do happen to join. It's going to be a great night of repairs. Get my self promotion out of the way. Right. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday. It is a pleasure to be here. Alright, and let's pop off real quick. Just another moment of your time. So very kind. Alright, that should do nicely. And where are we? Boom. Hey, Micro, good to see you, my friend. What a lovely day. To be blessed by Micro Mage. I haven't seen you in a while, man. It's good to see you. I always see you popping around in the Facebook group. It's always nice to see people from the group in other places, so always lovely to see. I'll drink and hydrate to that. Salute. Delicious. So, as the title says, I have a bunch of Dualsense Edge controllers. I bought them on eBay. I have diagnosed most of them. Some of them need repairs. Some of them we're just going to take a look and see what they need, and then we'll kind of go from there. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take to do some of these repairs. I have worked on a couple of these edges previously. We'll see. I don't know, but it's going to be fun to find out. I'm very excited. Oh. Let me just make sure I'm at least moderately settled here. I really need to clean my repair desk just so you guys can see the absolute chaos that I work in. Oh, there you go. So that is currently my station. It is a hot mess. Let me see if I can drag this controller, the camera up a little bit here. Yeah, I mean it's just a mess of controllers and screws and tools, and it's just a nightmare. It's a nightmare of epic proportions. But we're doing the things, so we're going to keep doing the things. All right. Get these babies ready. Hey, Demi, good to see you, my friend. Happy Saturday to you. Oh, I have the Cat of Good Luck on today. It's going to be great repair day. Oh. So I'm just going to give a few minutes, let some people hop in before we get too heavy on the repairs. Oh. Oh, I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you completely. It's between working the normal 9 to 5 that I do and then doing the repairs on the side, I really had to schedule out my time pretty efficiently, to say the least. So I feel you on that completely. It is important, but that's what Saturday nights are for. Because when football comes on, yeah, that's football. Got to watch football. So we will have Saturday nights to have ourselves a grand old time. I don't know why that's not on properly. All right, let's give it. Where are we? Give it like 3 more minutes. We'll have some time for some people to get in here, and we shall begin these Dualsense Edge repairs. So, just a bit of background for those of you that came early. I bought these on eBay. There was 5 of them on sale, all sold as untested customer returns, and I think I paid. How much did I pay in total? I think like 180, about 187 for 5 Edge controllers. I mean, yeah, you guys do repairs, so you'll know that the Edge controllers used and working typically go for about 100 to 120. So to get 5 of them at 180 is a deal and a half. So as soon as I saw it, I immediately bought it. I had to. And I did some testing. One of them was working perfectly out of the box, so didn't have to worry about that. It was great. That one I kept for myself because I don't have an Edge controller yet, so that's mine. But the rest of them do have some nicks and things, along with the fact that I have so many controllers. I really need to either fix them all or put them on lot. But I have this Minecraft Xbox Pig controller. I have these 2 DualSense controllers that I still have to work on, along with, where is it? Oh, grab the box here. Oh, this box filled with controllers. They all work, except they all have stick drift. Every single one of them has stick drift. So, I still have a lot of controller work to do. But that is all for that is then. This is now. We're going to work on what we have now. So, about another minute or so here, and we will go ahead and get going. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and hanging out. It's always nice to see you guys coming and participating and just spending a little bit of time with me while I continue to learn how to fix all this shit. So, it is genuinely, genuinely appreciated. Delicious. Stay with the hydration. Very important. All right. It's only 9 minutes. We'll let people come in. It's fine. Let's get this thing going, huh? I got to be up for football tomorrow. I got a lot of food to cook, so let's just get down to business, shall we? All right, so here we have our 4 DualSense Edge controllers. So again, these were purchased as part of a lot on eBay as untested customer returns, and one of them did come in fully working. I bought 5 of them at about 180, 190 bucks, something like that. And one of them was working completely. I kept that one, and then I have these 4. So we have the first one here. I really wish this damn camera could read better. I think it's like the closer I get, the worse it gets. God, this is terrible. It's awful. Well, you can kind of see it when I close the camera a bit. I can't focus it or anything. God damn it. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. So let's see if the microscope gives us any better of a look. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we got the first one here. This one, the L2 button was completely stuck. I did already take this one apart. I was going to save it for the stream, but my curiosity got the best of me. And what I found is that this one has already been taken apart, and whoever did it did a very bad job of putting it back together. I don't know what happened to it, but God, it was massacred on the inside. So the L2 button is not working. It is now fully functional. The front plate right here is missing, and this one needed sticks. I already bought sticks to replace it, so those are the analog modules right there. And then the back button is gone. So like I said, when they took it apart, they did a horrible job, because that little release button that's supposed to be right there, that keeps the front plate on and releases it, is no longer there. And just for a little entertainment purposes, you can't find just that part. I literally have to order an entire rebuild kit from Amazon to get that spring part and the release button. So that's fun, but it'll be worth it once I can get them all sold. So other than that, this one is working perfectly. We will do some testing on the gamepad tester just to be 100% sure and double check my work. But that is controller number 1. Number 2. So this one is has bad grips, and I can't test the back buttons. So the other thing that these controllers did not come with, any of them, is the back trigger buttons. So these buttons right here that normally plug in, there we go, that normally plug in right here, none of the controllers came with them. And the grips on this one, as is known with the Edge controllers, is rough. It's sticky and gross, and so these grips are no good. I do have to replace these. So eventually we will get that done. Controller number 3, it needed a front plate. I did order a front plate from Amazon. I like the red color, and I ordered a bunch of the, you'll notice that none of these have thumbsticks either. The thumbsticks are all missing off of them. I did order a bunch of thumbsticks from AliExpress, so I should have those in the next couple of weeks. And once I have all of these working, these will be up for sale. If any of you guys are interested, it will be on my Facebook page. As well as my website probably next week. My website should be up and running. So just needed the front plate and the analog sticks, which again I already purchased the analog sticks. Those are installed already. The front plate is on. It's on there nice and tight. I think once I have the red thumbsticks and back triggers, it'll look a lot better, because right now it just kind of looks strange with having that red bit on there. But this one, we're going to have 2 repairs on. So this one has stick drift on the right thumbstick. So that one right there is drifting. Trick, good to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure. So this one has stick drift right here. And the USB is loose, and I will show you guys that. So that's what mainly we're going to be working on this one to start off with. I'll probably save the rest of them for whenever I get the grips in for this one that needs the back, the release button, and everything else. We'll do a full breakdown on those. But in the meantime, this is going to be the one that we're going to work on. So we're going to fix the stick drift on this right stick over here, and we're going to fix this loose connection on this USB-C port. So just to give you guys an idea, move my chair a moment here. So if I plug it in, It is entirely loose. You can move it every which way. There is no grip. Oh no, what happened, Trick? What got you? Alright, so let's clear off these other ones. And let's start the disassembly process on these. Because they are fun to disassemble, boy. Let me tell you. Alright, let's move this out of the way. And let's move you a little closer. Alright, so typically, well, I guess I can probably show it if it'll clip in place again. Okay, there we go. So, they typically look like this. 2-second blot. 2-second blot. Did you double check the... sorry, is this EDM 10, 20, 30? So typically, there's a button right here that will release this front plate. So you have to move that button over, and that front plate just pops right off, just like that. EDM 10. Did you double check the 12 and 5 volt rail? They have that the little area right by the power cord, or in right by the power connector, the plug-in. There's 3 rows of 4 caps right next to a coil. It's really common for a 2-second blue lighted death that those caps go bad. So once the front plate is off, what we're going to do is we're going to grab my pry tool. We're going to come around, and we're just going to start pulling this this little section right here. Once you get under it, you can just kind of slide down, it'll pop off. Yep, all good. Damn. UART. Same thing on this side. Come on down here. And I usually like to start at the top if I can. It's not going to let me this time, so we're going to come across the sides. And you just want to kind of slide it across until it's pulling the tabs. Oh, this one's gunky. It's got all kinds of tasty goodness in there. There we go. All right. Okay. And there we go. Those tabs should all just kind of pry off at some point. VRM power failure. I feel like I just saw one of these. Change the MOSFETs, VRM. God damn it. I'm assuming, oh, wait a minute. APU VRM power fail. Oh boy. Hang on, sorry. I'm having a vague recollection. Sorry. Pause. Just a moment. Sorry, guys. 806,000. Why am that's sounding so familiar to me? Sorry, the 806,000 I feel like I've dealt with before. Okay, so the 806,000 is all 6 phases. So it's got Yeah, you got me on this one, man. Yeah, I'm assuming you're not finding any shorted caps near. Hang on, I have a 10 board somewhere. Give me a second. Ugh. Where is it? Well, this is a 20, but same idea. Behind the board, 118552 too. What the? Boy, you guys are dropping some heat in here. Trick, back of the board, where the ribbon cable goes in for the front USB board, just off to the right, above the 2 ceramic caps there's a little power management chip. Did you check around for shorts around there? And Demi, let me try and find info for you. Hang on. CE 118552. Let's take a look, shall we? Well, it looks like we have a UART code for it. So this is what is probably the UART code for it, if we can find some kind of information on that. Yeah, I don't have any actual notes on that error message. What's happening when you're getting that error message, Demi? Right. And Trick, just to give you what I was talking about real quick. So you have the USB ribbon cable right here, just above these ceramic caps, and this area right here, I believe, is the VRM, or at least part of that circuit. Double check this area right here, and then as well, if you're leading out from the APU, where is it? So out from the APU into this area right here, and then where is it? There's another chip I'm looking for. Yeah, and then underneath the RAM, double checking this area right here. Come up a little bit. So just under the RAM, in this area right here, look for shorts or bad resistors. I know I've seen that fault before. All right. I've gotten way off track, but I love it. Okay, so back to the Dualsense Edge. All right, so Dualsense Edge has way too many damn screws. So there are a total, well, first of all, we still have to take off the L1 and R1. Pop those off just like we usually do with any other DualSense controller. Come on now. Don't be rude. I do have replacements for you. You don't want to do this. There we go. See, you don't have to be rude. All right, so we have the two usual screws up here, 1 and 2. Oh, that's weird. That's very strange. Yeah, intermittent issues like that are always a nightmare to work with. Was it just no power period, no beep, no nothing? Because, I mean, that could be something faulty within the power supply. I've had that happen before. So along with 1, 2, we have 3, 4, and then we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 screws to get into the DualSense Edge. Not to mention this lovely little slider bar here. This bar can be your worst enemy. And I will show you why. There's no like description of the error, it's just that error with no wording. That's really weird. So, here we have the release button on the back. I hate this release button. So what you have to do is you have to slide the button over and then take this little spring and move it off the edge here without losing the spring, mind you. There we go. Something like that. And then from there it should just pretty much pop off. But again, you do not want to lose that spring because they are hard to find. If you lose that spring, you will not have another one. I'm going to move that safely to the end over here. There we go. And underneath that is 2 more screws. So a total of 11 screws. Alright, so now that we've got this off, before we start taking the screws off, we're going to take these analog sticks out. So you just lift up on these tabs right here and they just slide right out. We're going to keep this one on the side because that's the one we need to work on. The same thing, just slide right out. Easy peasy. Alright, now that those are out, we're going to start taking out these screws. There we go, there's one. 808 1000 or 10,001, huh? All right. So continue on with the screw removal process. Yeah, that general power failure is always the worst. Like, thank you for giving me 0 information whatsoever. we go. We can take this screw out. All right. And we'll come in and we'll take these two slightly larger screws out. Now, luckily these silver screws are all the same length, so you don't have to worry about what goes where. These two black ones are much longer than the others. Do not put a silver screw in there. It is really hard to get it out. There we go. Also, these screws are stuck in there. You gotta put a little extra force behind to get these screws out. Okay, there we go. And one last one over here. Oh, it's going to try and strip on me. That's alright. That's what we have power tools for. I don't usually use power tools on these, but some of these screws are really, really stuck in there. So sometimes you got to come in and give it a little extra help. There we go. Just like that. Nice and easy. Okay, so with all the screws removed out of the back, we can now come around and remove this back plate. So typically, easiest way I found is to just come in here and just kind of pry it out. You do want to do this gently, as there is a whole lot of components and stuff in the general vicinity. Same thing here. Just try and come down a little bit on it. There we go. And pry up at the top here. Get yourself some wiggle room. There we go. Just like that. And with that off, we can just kind of lift. And you don't want to break anything, so you got to try and be gentle about it. There we go. All right. And here we have the inside of the Dualsense Edge. It is far more complicated than the standard Dualsense. So, now, in as much that it is more complicated, it is also more modular, which does make things a lot easier as far as repairability goes. So, for instance, you'll notice that this battery is much smaller than a standard Dualsense battery. So that's the first thing we're going to take out. And also, it is not a plug-in. It is the clip-in, similar to the Nintendo Switch. So, I'm just going to come in here real gently and just give it a little gentle nudge, and just like that. Move that battery off to the side. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is try to remember the easiest way to get these off with minimal effort. So we do have to take these triggers off and this back plate. So I think we'll start with the triggers. So the triggers have two screws. They have this screw right here, and then you can kind of see it down in the middle in between the actual trigger itself. There's a screw holding in. Yeah, exactly, like the old PS4 fan. Perfect. So we're going to take this screw out first. Then we're going to come in here directly in the middle, and we're going to get this screw right here. So what ended up happening with that one that had the broken L2 is the person who took it apart lodged the screw underneath the L2 button and it wouldn't compress. It took me forever to get that screw out of there because these things are so easy to just get something stuck in and then you can't find it anymore. So, but with those two screws removed, you'll see that this just comes right out. You will want to remove this power clip right here. So I'm just going to pull that out, real gentle like. There we go. So that clip is now removed, and it does hook. You'll see there's a hook underneath the button assembly. So you're just going to move that wire off of there, and with that, you can freely move this to get to the ribbon cable underneath. Now the ribbon cable on these is just like the ribbon cable on the standard Dualsense. It's just in a weird spot. So we're going to pop this off like that. And we're going to move that off to the side. And now we will do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take this. This is a 00 Phillips head bit, by the way. If you guys are going to be asking questions, it is a 00 bit. And there we go. Let's move that out of the way. And again, same thing. There's a screw right down here. We're just going to shove our screwdriver in there and give it a whirl. There we go. And again, those are all the same length, everything like that. And just like we did before, we're going to take this power cord right here out. And again, same thing, it hooks underneath. So we're just going to unhook it, pull it to the side here. And let's move that. Same thing, that will remove to the ribbon cable, which we will just gently pull out. And we'll move to the side. Alright, so now that we've got our triggers removed, what we're going to do, I'm going to try and straighten this out a little bit. We're going to take this back plate off. So that's going to require these two screws up here. These screws are different than the rest of them, so you will want to make sure you keep them separate. Take out this little lefty first. They're very small. I don't know if you can see that. Extremely small compared to the others. So keep those to the side. Take those out. That'll just remove this upper portion right here. Just keep that off to the side. For this back plate, it's the same as all the others. Yeah, same as all the others. Just that one screw in the middle here. It is the long black screw, so you want to make sure you have that taken care of. Oh, there are two other screws. Yep, see? I'm still learning on these. There are two other screws that you have to take off. This one and this one. So we got to take those off as well. There we go. And number two. Like so. And then before the plate comes off, you will want to remove the microphone ribbon cable, just like you do on the normal Dualsense. So we're going to move this ribbon cable out of the way over here. Actually, we can probably, yeah, we'll just pull this out as well. Yeah, so we'll pull all these ribbon cables out, and of course we will do it very gently, so as not to damage the ribbon cable. There we go. So those will come out, and this one here, turn to the side because it's easier, and we will just gently, ever so gently, lift up on that ribbon cable. There we go, just like that. Alright, with all those ribbon cables removed, we should be able to just remove this whole apparatus here. It just comes right off the entire thing, you don't have to disassemble it. Okay, and now we're left with just the standard motherboard. So obviously this motherboard looks a lot different than the normal DualSense motherboard does. It is a lot more smaller, it's a lot more penis shaped, and it's a lot harder to work with because there's a lot of plastic pieces. One thing I will say, from my own personal experience and mistakes, these connectors right here, these four, they come off very, very easily. Very easily. And it is a nightmare to try and put back on. So, don't touch these. Don't ever touch these. Alright, that being said, we grab our ribbon cable. Actually, I don't need the tweezers for this. I can just come in and just give it a little wiggle. There we go. Alright. And of course we have to remove the top ribbon cable. There we go. Just like that. Now this board is held in with clips. These are the clips right here. It's kind of hard to see with the current camera, but you got one clip right here, this little black piece that's moving right now, and then another one on the other side just like it. Right there. Alright, and then all you have to do is just gently pull the clip to the side. You can lift that part of the board out. And same thing, just lift that clip over, and the board comes right out. Alright, and there we have our Dualsense Edge motherboard. Alright, so what we're going to be doing on this one, first of all, obviously, is we need to replace this USB port. So let's take a little closer look at it, shall we? So the first thing we'll check for is any damaged pins or anything. And no, it looks okay. Let's take a look at the back side of it here. So these are the same as the standard DualSense ones. The regular DualSense USBs will work on this. Just going to give a quick little nudge test on these pins, see if we can identify where exactly this issue is coming from. No, they all seem pretty well on. Yeah, but as you can see, and I'm going to get a white light because the thumbsticks aren't plugged in, the battery's not plugged in. But just to reiterate the issue here, we attempt to plug this in. Yeah, so you got the orange flashy lights of, hey, there's nothing in there. But this thing is loose as all hell. It is just moving all over the place and it doesn't connect properly. So, that's not good. Alright, just to show you the back here. The back is a little more forgiving as far as the plastic goes. So you don't have to worry as much when it comes to that. What we will be doing is, I luckily have a new helper to help me hold smaller boards because I did not have that previously. So let me adjust this real quick. There we go. Alright, so we're going to put this board in our clip like so. And move this one and we're going to clip it like so. Alright, so now the board is clipped into place, held on by clips, is a beautiful thing. And we're going to come into this USB port right here. And it doesn't take a lot of air to get these off, so you don't need the full 480, 99 degrees, or 99% airflow. I am going to do the standard, putting these ground holes with some leaded solder. So put down a bit of flux. Grab our solder. Where is my solder? God damn it. I'm losing everything around here. It's an absolute nightmare. Okay, there we go. Found my solder. Alright, so we're just going to come in here. Mix in the leaded with these ground holes. There we go. Alright, and this thing is not sitting as balanced as that's hot. That's very hot. It's not sitting as balanced as I'd like it to be. Okay, there we go. Well, it's still slightly off balance, but it is what it is for now. Alright. So, now that we've got the leaded solder mixed in with the unleaded, we're going to do this at about 450 with 50% airflow. Even that's probably a bit too much, but it'll be quick, so I'm here for it. Alright, come in with the air. Let me have my tweezers at the ready to just yank this thing down. There we go. There we go. Nice and easy. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, and then we'll put some more flux down, and we'll wick up the solder that's in there. There we go. Alright, probably gonna have to put a little more leaded in there to help that last little bit come out. Get some fresh wick as well. Well, let's just try with fresh wick first and see if that helps. Yep, fresh wick is better. All right. Alright, I mean that looks, yeah, that's good, okay. Alright, and then last one. Alright, beautiful. So that's all wicked up. We'll flip the board over after we clean up some of this flux. Let's give it a quick clean. Alright. Now that we've got that done, take the board out of the holder, flip it over. Put it back in the holder. Alright, and here we are. Where's my alcohol? I'm going to tidy this up a little bit, just make sure I'm seeing everything I need to see. Alright, there we go. Okay, yeah, that's just flux in there. Sorry, I couldn't tell if there was still solder left over in there, if it was just flux. But it's just flux. Alright. So now, let's dry up some of that alcohol. Alright, just like an HDMI port, we'll do the same thing. Put a little bit of leaded solder on to mix in with the unleaded stuff on the board. Add a bit of solder to the iron. And just come across here. Careful with those caps. And then we'll come in here with a little more flux and we'll wick that up. Right. There we go, close enough. And we'll get some of this pad up as well. Alright, there we go. So now that we've got that taken care of, we will give a little bit of a clean before we apply the new solder. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now that the area has been cleaned, we will drop fresh solder, and I use the drop method with these ports just like I do with the HDMI ports. I use the same method. What are you doing? Get your life together. Alright. A little bit right there. And same, we'll just fill in these holes. Alright, there we go. So now that is all prepped and ready. And we'll once again just give it a tiny bit of a cleanup. Get some of that hair out of there. Alright, so now that that is all ready, we're going to prep our new port. Now, some of you in the Facebook group will know that I ran into an issue previously where I installed the port and it would charge with an amp meter I should say, but not just normally plugged in. And I discovered it was because I had the wrong USB ports. So I took the advice of one of the lovely members of our little electronic repair family, and I ordered some off of DigiKey. So I'm going to hope that the person who told me to order these told me to order the correct ones. We'll find out pretty quickly. Alright, so just like we do with the normal HDMI, we are going to prep the legs to make sure it bonds nice and well the first time. I'm going to come in here, just the tiniest bit of flux. Take our soldering iron. I'm just going to give it a little dab across. There we go, just like that. Okay, now that that is done, we're going to position ourselves. Actually, I need to move this forward some so I can position the hot air properly. It would be you, Trick, honestly. If someone did tell me, oh yeah, these are the right ones, and I got the wrong ones, I would 100% blame you, even if you weren't there that day. Just because it's like M92T36. I always blame M92T36 until I can no longer blame it. You are now M92T36, Trick. Alright, we're going to put down a tiny little bit of flux just to help some of that solder flow quickly. Actually, I do need to move this more up. Oh yeah, there you go. Alright, now that this has unleaded or leaded solder in it, it's probably going to go quickly, so I need to have my port at the ready. And here we go. Waiting for that solder to go molten, especially on that big ground pad. There we go. Alright, so we should be good. Pop that port into place. Give some time for that solder to melt around the legs. Put a little gentle pressure as we remove the heat. Gentle pressure. This board holder doesn't allow me to put too much pressure. Ooh, that's also hot. Alright, there we go. So the solder is now solidified. Nope, never late, Kate, never late. There is always room for banter. Okay. So now that that's all in place, we're going to give this a second to cool off. Clean up any residual flux. Let's just have a look-see at these legs real quick. I'm not too thrilled with the positioning. I don't know if those are actually on there. Yeah, no, they're on there. Okay, good enough. All right, let's give the board a quick clean with some alcohol to help cool it down and to clean up any residual flux. And we'll double check the other side. Yep, that looks good. Solder flow all through the area. No components knocked off. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, So let's test. Alright, so we can test these by, number one, we have to have the battery. So let's put the battery in. Always, Ashley. Always having fun. Alright, there we go. Alright, so battery is installed. We get the white lights saying, hey, the thumbsticks aren't plugged in. White lights are unhappy lights, but it's fine. Alright, from there, we can plug these thumbsticks in. Okay, so now with the thumbsticks and the battery in, we should be able to plug it into a charger, and it should give us an orange charging light. Alright, so let's plug it in. Oh, do I have them in backwards? I might have it in backwards. Hang on. Okay, so now that I have them in the correct way, let's plug it in and see if we get that charge light, shall we? Alright, so from here, if we plug it in, it should turn to an orange charge light. And there we go. Beautiful. And no movement. No wiggle. Awesome. That's fantastic. Alright. Well, actually, while I've got it here, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Hang on. Sorry guys, just a moment. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, there is hella stick drift on that right stick. So I can't test any of the other buttons right now, but I am not moving that stick right now. I'm just giving it the gentlest of nudges to show, like, so that's me moving it. And that's when I take my hand off of it. Super stick drift. So we're going to fix stick drift on this as well. Might as well do that while we have it apart. Alright, so that's fantastic. USB port is successfully replaced. That's a beautiful thing. Oh, a moment of hydration, if you will. Bear with me. Alright, so this is the stick we need to work on. We'll move the other one out of the way for the time being, as well as the board before reassembly. So these sticks are a pain in the ass to get apart. It is not a fun time because they're very small and they're held together only with one screw, and then you got to pry the whole thing apart, and it's a pain in the butt for my fat fingers. So that's right. Stay hydrated, baby. Hang on. Hydration. Always. We stay hydrated in 2024. Salud. Good luck, Cat says we're fixing it all tonight. All right? All right, here we go. So, there, like I said, there's only one screw holding these all together. It is right there. A single screw. So we take that screw out. Remove the other screws that are currently attached to the screwdriver. Thank you, magnetics. All right, so we take the one screw out. It is the same size as the rest of the other silver screws. No, it's not. I'm kidding. Don't listen to me. It is not the same size. All right, so I've already taken this one apart, so it's easy. It's not normally that easy. It's a pain. But with that, you can take the little function button and just kind of pop the motherboard out. It's a very small motherboard. Be careful with it. There we go. And just move the rest off to the side. All right. And once you get it apart, you'll see that it is just, there we go. It's a normal joystick. I thought for some reason when I took these apart, they would be like the PlayStation Portals where they have the ribbon cable joysticks. But that was not the case. So, with this, let me find my other joysticks real quick. There we go. Got a couple. We're going to bring back our handy dandy board holder. There we go. All right, so you can tell on these with the Edge that they have their own little chip system here. I think when I was watching Uber Micro's video on this, that this is meant for calibration purposes, things along those lines. Could be memory storage for the function buttons. I'm not 100%, but we do have to be careful around those. So we're going to do our best to not knock off any components. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down some flux. And what I'm going to attempt to do first is use my solder sucker to remove the solder on these legs and such. I may have to end up wicking some of it away. That's fine. Well, let's see what we can do. So what I'm going to try is come right in here, heat that solder up. Oh, that worked pretty well. Okay. Well, maybe we can keep doing that. Let's remove this glob of old solder from the sucker. And same thing here, just heat it. Alright, and we'll just keep going around. do want to be careful around these other components. Don't want to accidentally suck one of them up. Yeah, so some of this is obviously going to have to get wicked up, and that's fine. That is not a problem. But the sucker is getting a fair amount of it, so that's positive. Yeah, can't get them all. That's all right. Take it easy, Trick. Have a good night, buddy. All right, same thing here. Going to keep going around with the solder sucker. I'm going to try and get a little more of this one. Yeah, that's all right. We'll have to wick some of it. That's not a big deal. Yeah, it's probably about time to bust out the wick, but yep. Let's bust out the wick, shall we? Alright. So now that we've got a fair amount of the solder out, we're still going to want to come in and wick up as much of it as we can. Let me get some fresh wick, because this thing eats wick like crazy. Alright. Just keep going around, wicking up as much as possible. Alright, I'm going to take the cheater's way, except for this last one. This one I have to get with some wick. It's way too much. We're gonna cheat a little bit. Alright. Alright. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come in with some hot air over the top of it, and we're gonna pull down gently. It is not the ideal way to do this, especially with this plastic connector right here, so I am going to be really careful about it. Alright, so again I'm staying with the 450 at 40% airflow. What I'm doing is I'm coming in onto the joystick right away, and I'm just going to be wiggling it as I go. Gently comes right out. All right. Now, the reason I use hot air, even though it's really not ideal for these, is because if you wick too hard on these pads, you can damage them, and then the joystick doesn't register properly. So I try really hard not to do that. All right, now you can see that some of these holes do still have solder in them, so I am going to come in with some more flux, especially since the board is nice and hot. And we're just going to try and wick up as much of that as we can. All right, those all look good. And what I'm doing to wick these out is I'm just putting the soldering iron down on top of the wick, and I'm twisting the wick back and forth. I'm not actually moving the iron. That also helps to make sure you're not doing too much damage on these pads. Alright, so we're just going to finish clearing out these holes so we can put the new joystick in. Yeah, usually it's just wear and tear. I'll show you actually in just a second where the most common cause of it is once I get these holes cleared out. Alright, we get a little bit of flux on this last hole because it's wanting to be difficult. There we go. This one's really not wanting to come. Might have to add a little solder into that one. Right, now that we've got some extra solder in there, maybe it wants to come up. There we go. Sometimes you just need to add a little more. Alright, and those all look good. Fantastic. Okay, so when it comes to stick drift on these, so you have your standard joystick assembly. So, as you can see, it moves left, right, up, down, all 8 directions. You have these potentiometers on the side right here that tell they have a sensor inside of them to tell the controller to move left and right or up and down, and so yeah, left and right here, and then this one controls the up and down movement. So what can happen is these potentiometers inside can get dust, debris, just get worn out over time, and they will start glitching out because it won't sense it properly. So when you try to push left, it just continues sensing that it's trying to push left. And so it'll just glitch out like you saw it on the screen there. So you can just replace these potentiometers. In my experience, it's much easier to just replace the entire joystick. So that's usually what I do. I buy them in bulk and I just replace the entire joystick. Alright, so now we've got a nice clean, well, nice freeboard to work with. We're going to clean it up right now. We're going to add just a little bit of heat. There we go. To heat up that flux. Make it easier to work with. Alright, and we'll come in with some alcohol. Alright, now as you can see, even with me being careful, and I was really careful with this, you can see that while I was wicking it, there's a small bit of exposed copper right here. Now that shouldn't affect anything because it didn't hit the actual trace, the darker green line around it, but that right there is what I'm talking about when I say you have to be really, really careful when you're wicking away these pads, because if you wick too hard, you can get stuff like this happening, and that's no good. Overall, it looks pretty okay. I don't see any damage to any of the traces, so it should be fine. And we should be good to put the new joystick in. So I do have a joystick all ready to go. Alright, and so from here, position it properly, and with a little bit of gentle upward pressure, we can get it into place. Right, so there's one side of this that's being a little bit difficult. What I'm going to do is remove the board real quick, and we're going to figure out why that is. So we're going to flip it around here and make sure everything's lined up properly. It does appear that it is, so we're going to just be applying some gentle force on it. This side's going in fine. You can see these legs pushing up through here, no problem. And even up here, it's okay. But something up here is not happy. And it might be one of these holes up here. Might be this main hole right here, this big one. Alright, so before we go damaging anything, we're going to pull it out. And we're going to check our legs, make sure they're all in line. It does appear that they are. Maybe I can just give a gentle little nudge on this leg over here, just to move it over slightly. Okay, so that does not want to go in, so we need to reevaluate. This hole right here is still giving us trouble. So we're going to try and clean that hole out again. Let's go ahead and get our board back into position. And that is the offending hole right there. So my guess is but there's probably a fair bit of solder in there. Or just enough to where it's not wanting to go through. So we're going to take care of that by adding more solder and clearing it out just like we did the other ones. I'm going to do the same thing with these two just to be on the safe side. So we'll put some flux down. Yeah, you don't want to force these. Yeah, even if it takes a little extra time, the smallest little bit of solder, you can see that hole looked pretty clean, but the smallest little bit can cause problems. So we're going to add a little extra in there, right there, and right there. We're going to get ourselves some fresh wick. And we're going to come in here, we're going to try and wick it up. Alright, go. See that wick get nice and shiny from the solder it's getting up? Okay, yeah, that looks much better. Alright, I'm going to get some more fresh wick. Okay, there we go. Alright. Needs a little more fresh wick. We can do more fresh wick. Let's just move down the wick a little bit. Alright, that one doesn't want to come out now, that's fine. We can play hardball. I'm down for a little bit of hardball. Alright, got a nice blob of solder on there. Put down a little bit of fresh flux. There we go. Come right back with the wick. Alright, let's grab our dental pick. Just come in there. Alright, we got a nice through hole now. Alright, so now that that's all done, we'll give it a quick clean. And it should slide right into place this time. Come in with a bit of alcohol. Just clean up the area. Get all that residual flux out of there. Okay, so those holes look much, much better now. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and position the joystick right into the through holes on top here. Alright, so I'm going to try and keep it in the board holder this time. Alright, so it looks like we're good. We have good solid connection all the way through. Alright, so what I'm going to do is hold this in place, and I'm going to secure a couple of the legs. just to make sure it stays in place where it needs to. Now I'm going to have to do this left-handed, which sucks. Okay, that should be enough for me to at least move hands. Oh. And there we go. Okay, you guys didn't see any of that. That's fine. Okay, so I've got those two legs soldered in just to keep everything else in place. And now what we'll do is just come in with some flux, solder the rest of them. There we go. All those legs look nice and shiny, all held together beautifully. And all that's left to do is clean up and test. So let us do that. Alright, well, solder joints look really good. I'm very happy about it. Alright, let's remove it from the board holder. Let's move our lovely board holder out of the way. Alright, and so for this, we're going to grab our function button. Actually, we'll probably just put this back together first. So let's go ahead and reassemble our thumbstick. Just push that down into place, nice and clicky. Going to gently but firmly get this back into place, just like that. Actually, we do need to put that function button in place first. Alright, so function button gets draped over the edge. Okay, now I was wondering if the function button needs to go on first or not, and it looks like it does. Okay, not a problem. Okay, here we go. There we go. Alright, function button is there. Alright, and then we just come back in with the top plate, or the bottom plate I should say. Nope. Apparently not. Okay, well, this is not staying where it needs to stay. Alright, so apparently I'm doing this function button wrong. Okay, there we go. I think that's how it's supposed to sit. Ugh. We'll find out in a second. It does look like there's little brackets right there to hold it. No, that is not correct. Not by a long shot. Okay. Well, this is why we're learning together, guys. Okay, looks like I might have been doing it upside down the whole time. That's always fun. Yep, that's what it was. I was doing it upside down the whole time. Tremendous. All right. And we just come back in here, put this little screw together. Okay. So now we have the whole assembly back together. There we go. So let's go back to our motherboard. Let's go ahead and reconnect the battery on the back. And you get the white lights of unhappiness. But now, when we plug in these analog sticks, number one, of course, we want to make sure that we're still getting the orange charge light and we didn't break anything. So, orange charge light, beautiful. We got orange charge light. Yeah, you're exactly right, Bubba. I had to flip the button. It was upside down. I had the clip going on the downside instead of the upside. So, but we got it. We figured it out. All right. And then we got this. Okay, so it is slightly off, but this also has to be calibrated. So once it's calibrated, it'll be dead center. But even so, it's just the slightest little bit off. But it's no longer pulling to the right like you saw previously. It was going way over here. So it is slightly off center. But once it's calibrated, that'll be back in the center. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. All right. So now that we've got that, we can put this the whole thing back together. So let's go ahead and remove these charging cable. all of this. Okay, so first things first, we're going to put it back in the chassis. And again, this is something that's a little bit temperamental, so you do want to be careful with it. So that you have the clips right here that hold the board in place. You want to gently push them over when you're seating the board. Gently pull them over so you can get it under. Get the board position into place. And then just gently move those clips over. There we go. And then the second one. And there you go. Clips are now holding it in place. All right. We're going to put these two ribbon cables back together. I'm going to gently fish this one out. Nope, not going to do that. We're going to remove the clip and we're going to fish it out the correct way. There we go. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now the ribbon cable's been fished out properly, we can put it right into our little connector here. Alright, upper ribbon cable is installed. Now we're going to work in reverse order. Oh, sorry, hang on, stretching the leg here. Ooh, ooh, oh, that hurts. Oh, sweet Lord. Oh, man. Okay, anyway, we're back. Enough of my bitching. Okay, so from here, going to put the backboard back into place. Move all of our fun cables out of the way. Okay, and we are going to very gently put all of our ribbon cables back into place. First one I'm going to do is the speaker cable, mostly because it's a pain in the butt. I have a wider set of tweezers for this specific job. Where are my wider tweezers? Well, these will have to do. Okay. All right. Once the actual the ribbon cable's into place, you can always put the speaker back into place way easier than that tiny little ribbon cable. There we go. Now that's back into place. We can plug in these other two ribbon connectors here. Those go in much easier. I say as it's difficult. Alright, fine. This one's going to be the difficult one. There we go. All right. All right, so the back plate is now in place. We're also going to take our upper bracket right there, the one that has the two different screws. We're going to screw that back into place. Go. Now we're going to put our two silver screws on the edges here. We got one that goes there. And one that goes on the other side. Then we have the long boy that goes right here as a long black screw. There we go. All right, with those in place, we can now move to our joysticks, or I'm sorry, our L2 sticks. Is it really now, Ashley? That's terrible. That's absolutely awful. I'm so sorry to hear that. All right. So we'll start with our left one here. We're going to plug in our ribbon cable first. These ribbon cables are also a pain in the butt. There we go. That one actually went in pretty easy, which means the next one's going to be a pain in the butt. All right. And then we're just going to position this right over here. And again, remember this cable hooks over it. There's a small little hook right here. So we can plug in our power connector right into that power cable, right into that connector right there, like so. And then again, there are two screws for this apparatus. You have screw number one, goes on the side right here. Oh boy, that's a bad day indeed. All right, and then now we have the second screw, which again goes right in the middle here. So you're gonna get screwed right in this little hole. There you go. You're gonna get that screw nice and deep in that hole, fill it up real good, and then that is fully connected. I'll move over to the second one. Same thing, ribbon cable will go in first. There we go. Alright, that one wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Yay! Alright, so we're going to move that out of the way. And again, same thing, we're going to drape this cable over the hook. we go. Now the cables are hooked in. Connect our power connector. Okay. And then again, same thing. We got 2 screws. One here. Nice and tight. And then again, same thing with this one over here. You can see the empty hole right in the middle right there. So we're going to just drive our screw real deep in there, give it a good hard twist, get it nice and filled up and tight. There you go. Good controller. Very good. All right. And then we can go ahead and slide our battery back in. So we're just going to place it in the connector and pop it down into place. There we go. So that's all good. All right, so now it is reassembled. Actually reassembled enough to test, so I do want to test these back buttons. So let's give it a test real quick. Oh, I do have to connect the joysticks up, so let's do that real quick. Alright, so now we've got our joysticks installed. Let's get this plugged in. Alright, so we've got our orange charge light. That's always a good thing. Okay. So let's just make sure all our buttons still work. So the action buttons all work. D-pad all works. Joystick number 1 is good. Joystick number 2 registers all that. I don't have my L1 and R1 in, but I did test that before. I know those work. And let's see, do these back buttons work? Yep. Alright, so those are already mapped. I am not pushing L2 and L2 and R2. I'm pushing the buttons on the back. And those are already mapped and working fine. Perfect. Alright, awesome. So all the buttons are working. It means we can finish putting it back together. So we'll grab our back case. Alright, so I usually line these up from the top first and push in that way because it is the tightest fit. Battery's trying to fall out on me. There we go. Alright, so once that's in, it's just a matter of pushing everything down into place, getting it all fitted. Alright. And then again, we have our screws to put in, so it is silver, 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 long black, silver, silver, and then silver and silver on the other side. Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we got the 3 silver screws in there. Let's grab the 2 long blacks, get those in. Alright, there we go. 2 more silvers underneath the plate release button right here. There we go. And then 2 more silvers at the bottom. There we go. Alright, and then we just have 2 more screws up in the top here. And then we get the fun time of putting that switch release back on. And good lord, is it a nightmare. I am not a fan. There we go. Okay, so for this switch release, like I mentioned, I have to remember how to do this. Okay, so you have the spring that goes on this little latch right here. There we go. Okay, now what you have to try and do is attach that spring to this little hook right here on the bottom. That I have somehow managed to do. Hey, how about that? First try, baby. Let's go. So yeah, and that'll just slide. That's what releases the faceplate. Excellent. All right. And from there, we can reattach our top buttons here. So R1. There we go. And L1. Perfect. All right. Then we can grab our bottom plate. So the easiest way I've found to do this, because it is somewhat difficult, the easiest way I've found is there are some tabs right here that will line up with these tabs on the bottom. If you can get that connected first, that's usually the best way to go about it. So I'm going to try and do that on camera. Oh, you have to take the thumbsticks out to do it properly. Alright, that's fine. Thumbsticks come out. Okay. So, let's see if we can do this. Do I have this backwards? I have it backwards. It also helps if you put it on the right way. Okay. So, once again, these tabs right here, you want to try and get into the little holes on the bottom right there. If you can do that first, the rest of it usually falls into place. So, got that. It's not quite fully lined up. There we go. All right, so once those are in place, the rest of it you can usually just kind of click into place. Yeah. Yep, that was way easier. All right, and so now the bottom plate is fully back together. Now we can put our thumbsticks back in, lift up those tabs, slide them right in, and then as you pull this, you'll see it locks into place. Boop. And boop. And then the only thing to do from here is to put our top plate on. Those little tabs up here, they'll hook underneath these little holes, and then just push it down until everything clicks. All right, and there we have it. This thing is fully put back together. We'll give it one more test real quick. All right, so let's plug it in real fast. All right, so now it's fully plugged back in and together. All right, let's go ahead and test the circularity on it as well while we're here. Now, this also doesn't have thumbsticks on it, so an error in that range is not awful. Yeah, so about 20% is average, so that's good. L2, R2, R1, L1, up, down, left, down, right, up, triangle, circles, X, square, circle, button, 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 button. PlayStation button works. Middle button, good. And back button's also working. All right, fantastic. All right, so she is all ready to go. It just needs the thumbsticks on the front as well as the trigger buttons on the back, and she will be ready for her new home. So we can take this sticker off, and we will know that that one is good to go. All right, what time is it? Oh wow, it's almost midnight. That took a lot longer than I thought it would. It's always crazy how these repairs take longer while I'm talking and stuff, because, yeah, I'm not focusing on just repairs. But that did take a while. However, this is now a perfectly viable Dualsense Edge controller that can now go to somebody else who wants to use one and give it a new life. That's what this is all about for me. And of course, yeah, making some money along the way. But yeah, the money really is like secondary as far as these things go, because yes, I do like to make money on these, but this is just a hobby for me. Like, I do own a business. I do run a business out of here, but yeah, I work a normal 9 to 5. This is a side business for me, and I grew up as a gamer. And when my stuff broke, I didn't have anybody to take it to, and so not only do I get to help people to get new games at way better prices, or new controllers or consoles at much better prices than retail, but I get to help people, and honestly, that's the best part of this for me. It's being able to see people so happy when they get the new things and so excited to go play, and that's everything for me. All right. Anyway, enough of my sappy rant. I am going to go ahead and end the stream. I didn't think it would take that long to get this done, but it's already almost midnight. I have a lot of food I have to cook in the morning. It's football Sunday. I have to watch the Dolphins be complete ass. It's going to be a hard day. I need all the sleep I can get. So, thank you, everybody, for coming out, for just hanging, talking, chatting, Trick giving me shit, same stuff as always. Genuinely, I love being able to just come out here, hang out with you guys, fix some stuff, learn some stuff, help you guys out with stuff. It's the best. This is, I can't believe I get to do this. It's wild. Anyway, happy almost Sunday, 10 minutes to Sunday. I will likely be streaming next week, but I do have a hurricane coming around like the Wednesday, Thursday area. So depending on if we have power, all of that, I will obviously keep you updated on Facebook, and I'll put some notifications out on YouTube as well, just letting you know where things stand. But yeah, I'm very happy to have these controllers working, and I can't wait to get the rest of the parts in and get these to new homes. So I love all of you. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out, and have a wonderful evening. Be safe out there, and hopefully I'll see you next week.